In a world saturated with distractions and the perils of external validation, a profoundly effective practice for cultivating genuine inner strength lies in the deliberate and thoughtful setting of clear life priorities. Taking the time for deep introspection to define what truly holds lasting significance, one's core purpose, personal growth, and inner peace, forms the bedrock of resilience. For when an individual establishes an unshakable foundation of self-worth, rooted firmly in their own internal values rather than the fluctuating opinions of others, the fleeting judgments and criticisms directed their way gradually lose their power to unsettle. This often unrealized secret reveals that true power resides not in the relentless pursuit of external approval, but in the quiet confidence of being unmoved by external rejection, granting the wisdom and self-respect to navigate life's complexities with unwavering focus on deeply held aspirations. You become, in a very real sense, untouchable. Not because you cease to care about anything at all, but because you care deeply and intentionally about the right things, about those aspects of your life you truly care about. This is the often unrealized secret to genuine inner strength. True power lies not in the relentless pursuit of external approval, but in the quiet confidence of being unmoved by external rejection. It is about having the wisdom and self-respect to walk away from situations and relationships that drain your energy, to rise above petty conflicts and trivial dramas, and to maintain an unwavering focus on your deeply held values and long-term aspirations in a world saturated with distractions. It is about consciously and strategically choosing where to direct your finite reserves of energy and resolutely refusing to squander them on matters that do not warrant your precious attention or contribute to your overall well-being. When you truly master the profound art of indifference towards the trivial and the inconsequential, you don't merely survive the inevitable challenges of life, you actively and deliberately thrive. In a world where the majority of individuals are often excessively preoccupied with seeking the approval of others and conforming to external expectations, the individual who stands firm in their inherent self-worth, unburdened by this need for validation, will invariably rise above the rest, a beacon of self-possession and inner strength. The relentless pursuit of external approval is a treacherous trap, a subtle form of self-imposed servitude. The fundamental truth that must be internalized is this: no one's opinion of you, regardless of their perceived authority or social standing, should ever outweigh your own deeply held sense of self-respect and intrinsic value. The very moment you consciously grant another individual the power to define your worth, you irrevocably relinquish control over the trajectory of your own life, becoming a mere reflection of external expectations rather than the authentic author of your own narrative. True and lasting confidence is not a gift bestowed by others. It is meticulously built from the bedrock of self-reliance, the unwavering inner knowing that you do not require anyone's permission to be authentically yourself, to embrace your unique qualities, and to pursue your own distinct path. Reflect for a moment on the individuals you have encountered who exude a palpable sense of magnetism and inner strength. They are invariably not the ones who desperately seek the approval of those around them or attempt to shrink themselves to fit into the restrictive molds dictated by societal pressures. Instead, they possess an unshakable sense of self-acceptance, embracing their inherent worth, flaws and imperfections included. And it is precisely this unwavering self-acceptance that forms the bedrock of their undeniable power. While others expend their energy chasing the ephemeral validation of external sources, these individuals walk their own chosen path with an unapologetic authenticity and a clear sense of purpose that renders them impervious to the vacillations of public opinion. The pervasive need for external approval often stems from deep-seated fears: the primal fear of rejection, the anxiety of being subjected to critical judgment, and the unsettling prospect of standing alone in one's convictions. But here lies a crucial and often counterintuitive truth. The more desperately you seek the approval of others, the more profoundly you surrender your own personal power. You become a prisoner of external expectations, constantly twisting and contorting your thoughts, actions, and even your very identity in a futile attempt to fit into the ever-shifting and often contradictory molds designed by others. In this self-betraying process, you lose touch with your authentic self and diminish your inherent value. The pursuit of universal approval is, in its very essence, an unattainable illusion, Therefore, true freedom, the liberation from this insidious cycle, comes only when you decisively release the ingrained need to be universally liked or accepted. No matter what you do, no matter how carefully you curate your actions and words, there will always be those who offer criticism, those who misunderstand your intentions, and those who simply remain indifferent to your existence. So why waste your precious energy on a pursuit that is inherently flawed and ultimately self-defeating? Consider the individuals who have indelibly shaped the course of human history, the visionary leaders, the groundbreaking innovators, the transformative creators. They were rarely, if ever, concerned with fitting into the prevailing norms or seeking the validation of their contemporaries. Instead, they were driven by an internal compass, fueled by a compelling vision, a profound sense of purpose, and an unquenchable fire within their souls. They inevitably faced criticism, often fierce and unrelenting, but they remained largely unfazed, their resolve anchored in a deep wellspring of self-belief that rendered them virtually unstoppable. If you are determined to break free from the insidious grip of the approval trap and reclaim your inherent power, begin by asking yourself a fundamental and deeply introspective question: whose opinion truly holds significant weight in my life? Whose judgment do I genuinely respect and value based on their character, their wisdom, and their genuine investment in my well-being? More often than not, you will discover that the loudest and most persistent voices of criticism come from those who do not walk your path, who do not understand your unique journey, and whose own perspectives are often colored by their own insecurities and limitations. Their words, while they may sting in the moment, carry no real and lasting weight unless you consciously grant them that power through your emotional reactivity. Another crucial step in this process of liberation is learning to actively validate yourself from within. Consciously acknowledge your own progress, celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they may seem in the grand scheme of things, and recognize your inherent strengths and capabilities. When you cultivate this internal source of validation, when you begin to truly recognize your own worth independent of external affirmation, the need for external approval gradually diminishes, eventually becoming largely irrelevant. Detaching from the need for external validation does not imply becoming arrogant, dismissive, or indifferent to the genuine and well-intentioned feedback of trusted sources. Rather, it signifies standing firm in the conviction of who you are, respecting your own decisions and the unique trajectory of your journey, and resolutely refusing to allow the fleeting opinions and expectations of others to dictate your path or define your inherent value. It is the profound understanding that your worth is not a commodity to be negotiated or debated based on the whims of external judgment. The very moment you consciously cease the relentless pursuit of external validation is the precise moment you begin to live truly freely, unburdened by the constraints of others' expectations. You no longer feel compelled to filter your words, censor your actions, or curtail your dreams through the limiting lens of what you believe others might think or approve of. Instead, you move through life with an authentic boldness and a clear sense of purpose that cannot be shaken by the shifting sands of public opinion. It is an undeniable reality that not everyone you encounter will understand you, support your endeavors, or agree with your perspectives, and this is not only acceptable, but often a sign that you are forging your own unique path. The individuals whose opinions truly matter, those who genuinely care about your well-being and growth, will respect you not because you actively seek their approval, but because they recognize and value your inherent strength, your unwavering integrity, and your commitment to your own truth. So make a conscious and deliberate choice to prioritize yourself, your values, and your vision. Stand firm in your beliefs, grounded in your principles, and resolute in the pursuit of your aspirations. Let go of the debilitating need for external validation and wholeheartedly embrace the profound and liberating power of self-acceptance. Once you do, you become, in a very real and meaningful sense, untouchable, not because you have somehow garnered the universal approval of everyone you encounter, but because you have cultivated an inner sanctuary of self-worth that no longer requires it. When you think about your sense of self-worth, how much of it feels tied to the opinions, praise, or acceptance of others? Can you identify specific areas where this dependency shows up? Reflect on a time you prioritized external approval over your own inner knowing or values. What did that experience feel like, And what did it ultimately cost you? If you enjoyed the content and would like to support this channel, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the section below. And I'll see you next time.